All right, it's time for the lesson from yours truly, Ladito. I got a little bit of the Glenn Levitt. Bada boom, bada bang. I'm still faithful to the old Jameson, but every once in a while you gotta mix in a little class. That's why I be rocking that Glenn Levitt these days. So today we're gonna go over the scales. And I'll be honest, I just tried to make a video about this. And I got way too freaking carried away and I got into the weeds. It's hard to teach this shit because there's so much to it. So I've decided I'm going to strip this sucker down and we're going to focus on the bare fundamentals that you need to know. And then we're going to build in the extras as we go along. So step one is going to be learning those freaking patterns, right? It's crucial. You got to learn the patterns. That's step one. The nice thing is the patterns continue to work regardless of where you are on the fretboard. So while there's a bunch of different scales, there's the Aeolian, there's the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, there's a bunch of different scales, but they all work off of the same bass pattern. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through those 5 different shapes that make up the entire pattern that can be moved anywhere throughout the neck based on what key you are playing in. Okay? So I just opened up the ye old tube screamer. I think it sounds pretty nice. We're at about true north, a little bit less with all of the different knobs. Just because I live in an apartment, I'm trying to be respectful of my neighbors. It's currently 8:33. You know how it is. So we're just gonna stick to the fundamentals. We're gonna stick to the basics, the crucial piece of it. All right, we're gonna go a little bit deeper than that because I can't help myself. I would encourage you to do a few things before you start learning the scales. First of all, as a mindset coach, it would be stupid for me not to admit the reality that learning the scales is easy, right? It's simple. I shouldn't say it's easy. It's simple. This isn't rocket science, but you have to actually stay committed and you have to practice consistently enough to learn the damn scales, right? So you have to actually put in the consistency. So from a mindset perspective, why are you doing this in the first place? Why do you care to learn the scales? Is it so you can jam with Steve-O? Is it so you can pick up and listen to a song and just start playing along with it and improving however you want? What is it for you? Why do you want to learn the scales? That's an important thing to understand as you get farther through the patterns and you get a little bit more drawn out and you're like, oh God, it's monotonous. My fingers aren't moving fast enough. I'm not picking up the stuff that I want to be as quickly as I want to. So you got to figure out why you're doing it so you can continue to push through, make it, learn all 5 patterns so you're able to go out and actually use those fucking things. Second piece is the what. What are you actually going to do? You need to commit to some sort of habit that's going to create this reality for you. I mean, learning these 5 patterns, these 5 pieces that make up the entire pattern, 5 shapes that make up the pattern, it's hard to say how long it'll take. I would say you could probably learn them all in a week and you could get them down to muscle memory within 2 weeks if you're practicing 30 minutes a day or so. So set a little bit of a game plan. Say, I want to learn all 5 shapes within the first month or, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, pick a deadline for it and choose how much time are you going to be putting in to actually see the results for that. Those are 2 crucial elements that a lot of people will skip over and they will start trying and they'll get a little ways into it. They'll run into a speed bump and they won't follow through. So follow the fuck through. All right. So now that we have that madness out of the way, the other piece is something that you just need to keep in the back of your mind. I wish that I would have been told this when I was first starting out learning scales, and that's, do you like the major pentatonic scale or the minor pentatonic scale better? Ultimately, once you're a pro, you'll know both and it won't matter. But as you're learning, especially if you're just going to take this to sort of a beginner level, you're going to need, all you need is, it's better to know which one you like because that's going to determine where you play it on the fretboard. So jam band music jam band music like Grateful Dead, a lot of a lot of stuff that I like to play over is in the major scale. I think it just sounds, it's happier. The major scale has a happier sound to it. This is an E major, A major versus minor. It's a little bit sadder. Those are your cowboy chords. It's a lot more of blues is played in minor. Stuff with a little bit more soul to it. Maybe you like that better. That's an E minor to an A minor. Right? So determine which one you like better. The only reason for that is because that's going to determine where on the neck you're going to play your scales. So now that I've told you that piece, forget about it. Come back to it later. The most important thing for today is learning those damn shapes. Learning the 5 shapes that make up the entire pattern. Okay? So we're going to go through step by step. We're going to go through all 5. We're going to use my little technique that I've basically created based on how I think that they look. It's kind of crazy, but if you stick with me, you might see it too, if you're crazy too, which you are, Deej. So we'll break it down. We'll break down each one. And then I encourage you just to frickin' sit down and practice this stuff consistently until you've got it down, muscle memory, and then we can move on to the next level where we start to layer in other pieces. You learn how it all matches together. You learn the way that you can play different chords. So you've got, this is a G major. So, and you're playing it in an E shape, right? Just like this. You're playing it, right, with the... That's basically an E. So you have the caged. I don't know why I'm even going into this, but basically you can play in a G major anywhere along the neck by knowing the different shapes that correspond. So why is that nice? When you're playing through different scales, then you can start to jump between the different actual chords that you'll resonate on, whatever. That's just a little sneak peek. You get to that stuff later. There's a lot of really fun, fancy stuff that you can learn once you have these 5 down. Get there. Honestly, it's one of the coolest things. Like I've learned stuff in all sorts of different worlds, from real estate stuff to mindset stuff to whatever. You know, we've all got our own things, but this learning music theory has been one of the coolest experiences, because as you learn you basically, it's like this giant puzzle, and you're just plugging in these little pieces to the puzzle, piece here, piece here, piece here. And the farther you get into it, the more you start to see how these all align. And you realize stuff in the sound, in the music that you're hearing, you're like, holy shit, he's doing that right there. And you start to look at the fretboard, and like for me, I just started realizing, I learned a few things in totally unrelated fields, and they started to just blend together, and I started to connect all the dots, and I realized I could do things that I hadn't been taught, just that were coming intuitively to me. They were really just lining up the puzzle pieces. It just all connected. Whatever, I'm going into the trenches. It's cool as shit. Learn the frickin' scales. If I were you too, I'd buy a goddamn electric guitar. Or just use one of Steve-O's. It's a lot easier to learn your scales on, honestly. Acoustic, it's just harder. It's harder to press the notes down. Plus, with electric guitar, soloing is just, electric guitar is much better for soloing. There's no question about it. You're going to be doing bends. And on an acoustic guitar, it's 3 to 4 times harder to do a good, solid bend. Anyways, let's get into it. We're going to do the 5 shapes. Now, here's the craziness in my methodology behind this. I believe that the gods created. No, I'm kidding. The reality is, these, I've sort of noticed that they all follow a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shape. They look like the numbers that they correspond to, sort of. I think it's pretty, when I first was figuring out, I was like, oh, 1 looks like 1. 2 looks like 2. I got into 3, I was like, 3 kind of looks like freaking 3. 4 looks like 4 to me. And then 5, I was like, holy shit, 5 actually looks like fucking 5. It sort of clicked for me. It's kind of crazy. Here's the problem. This is the reason that I'm making this video in the first place. Should have said this in the first part of the video. You'll find a lot of videos that will break down a few of the shapes, but not the entire thing together. You got to learn the whole damn thing, okay? You can't just learn a few of the shapes because it repeats itself. The patterns repeat themselves. There's only 5, but 5 goes this far. So 1 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're done. But then you go back into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So you have to learn the whole thing so it all connects together and you can use it wherever you're at. So here we go. Shape 1. It looks like a goddamn 1. If you flip this thing on top of itself, it's going to look like a 1. Now, for every single shape that we're going to learn that goes into this entire pattern follows either a 3 fret distance or a 4 fret distance. It's kind of nice. They all follow this. And once we get a little farther, you'll realize that the 3 actually repeats itself. It goes 1 3, 1 4, 2 3s, 1 4, 1 3, a 4. So it goes 4 3 4 3 3 4 3 4 3 3 4 3 4 3 3 on every single string, which is kind of freaking nice. Again, I'm getting into the weeds, but fuck it. It's kind of nice because when you're listening to a song, I've got my looper here. Not sure what's on this, but the nice thing is when you're listening to a song, you can follow this 3-4 pattern, play anywhere. Doesn't sound that good. That note's in key. Not. So this is a 4. That's a 3. So it's either a 3 or a 4. It's a 4. So now I know, boom. And then I can find everything else out from it. Sorry, we're getting into the weeds, but that's what we're doing, baby. We're about to get to the patterns. We'll get there. Bear with me. Like I said, shape 1, shape uno, shaped like a 1. If you tip it on its head, every shape has 3s and has 4s. So, starting with the 1, shape 1 has 3s. 1, the top E is a 3. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. All right, you see that? That's where you are on the first one. 1. Second string is also a 3. Third string, 4. And you're just moving it back. Fourth string, 4. 3 and 3. So it's going 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3. This is why it looks like a 1. Your pinky is always playing this fret. 1 and 2 are the easiest. By far the easiest to learn. Because they all use the same fret. So, again, your pinky is going to be on each one of those, right? Pinky's always there. Then the other side, boom, 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 is going to be there. So it looks like a 1 in my opinion because it's following this shape. Doom, 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 doom. It's perfectly symmetrical if you were to break it down this way and fold it over, right? It kind of looks like a 1 if you're facing it up. So again, we're going to go through it. That's a 1. Okay, now we're going to go into the 2. I would encourage you to pause the video right here. If you need to repeat over the one again, do that. If not, if you've got that down, I believe that you can learn 1 and 2 at the same time. So once you practice 1, do it 25 times. Do it 25 times. Go down. That's 1. That's 2, right? So do that 25 times. Then press play again, and we're going to go on to level 2. All right? So assuming you've done that for 1, we're going to move on to 2. Now, in my opinion, 2 looks like, guessed it, the letter 2. Again, we're sticking all the way to, your pointer finger is going to be on this fret for everything you play. That's really convenient. First, I'm just going to go through it quick. This is the one you probably know. Again, ring finger is staying here the whole time. It's just about this outer shape. It's going 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. Not that hard because look at that. It looks like a damn 2. 2 shaped like this, right? So the big end of any 2 on the top of a 2, it hangs over, comes down, and then the base of a 2 is big. Comes back across. So these bottom 2 are a 4. The base of a 2 is always a little bit bigger. These middle ones are that big swooping part. Those are 3s. And then you got your 4 here again on the top. Right? 4, 3, 3, 4, 4. Whatever the fuck that was. Okay, so we got our 1 and a 2. Now, go back and practice those damn pieces. Do not move on until you've done each of those to the point where you're like, I got it, I got it, I got it. Because if you try, if you're not quite there yet, I would encourage you maybe even to take a day or 2. You can go through it the first time and try to practice them all, but I would encourage you to spend a couple of days just practicing a few of them so you get them right. Okay? It's getting freaking hot in here. I'm wearing a damn sweater. Oh. Watch out. It's hot, this motherfucker. Cut. So. All right. We got 1. We've got 2. On 2, little sneak peek here. On 2, the best one of, in my opinion, the best chord to bend. I think that one sounds the best of most things that you're going to play. It's a G. It's a G string. Okay. Bada boom, bada bang. Now we have number 2. We're going to move into 3. Again, practice those ones until you know them well so you don't confuse yourself with all these other patterns. The nice thing is we have this genius number system to remember all of them, right? Courtesy of your boy. Number 3. I'm just going to go through it first. 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, okay. That's a 3. Why does it look like a 3? This one's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but essentially a 3 goes like this, right? So you're going, the 3 goes, starts over here, goes big and wide. Yeah, the 3 is actually really shitty. It doesn't really look like a 3, but it does follow the same shape in that it sort of moves that way and then it comes back. I don't know. That one's probably totally not legit. But let's just learn it based on what we have here. So the nice thing is here, everything is lining up except for this one is here. Pinky, 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 pinky. So we're going 3, 4, 4. This one is going to seem a little bit out of place compared to everything else we've learned so far. Coming back, and then you're moving back up to the 3. Okay? So. All right. Again, I would encourage you to practice that at least 25 times before you move on to the next one. This one's a little bit funky. Okay. It's funky, but I think that this is the most important one, in my opinion, because like I said before, you choose what do you like, the minors or the majors. Personally, I like the majors. I like the little bit more jam bandy feel. So what ends up happening is you end up playing a lot of full major chords, obviously, when you're playing a major song. And guess what? Number 3. Three ends up being right over. That's what you're playing over a major chord. So 3 is important. 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3. All right, now we're going to move on to 4. I do think 4 actually looks like a damn 4. Because look at this. The top of it, right? You know how a 4 works, obviously. You've got that big open fork thing right at the top. Bada boom. Then it sort of crisscrosses over and out. Then back. And then you've got your bass. So I'll show you. It goes 3, 3, 3. That's your top part. Then you've got over here, hangs out. That's that back part of the 4. Then this one is a 4 versus a 3. And then you're taking that whole shape and you're moving it up. And it's another 4 followed by a 3. My camera's about to die, so I'm going to go right into level 5. This one completes it, and you roll back into 1. 5 starts with a 4. Another 4. 3, 3, 3, 4. Okay. So this one does kind of look like a 5. Because a 5 goes like this, comes down, and then it swings over, which is this weird one that's linked up 1, versus these ones are back. These are 4. The top ones are normal, 4, 4, 3, 3. Then this weird one, 3 up here, and then the 4 comes in there. Bada boom. And then guess what? Boom. You are back at you're back at 1. Magic. It's freaking magic. 5 might not have made a ton of sense there. I'll do 5 one more time. So it's the 4, 4, then it's 3 over based on your pointer finger, and then it's 3 again, but you're going middle finger, ring finger, and then a 4 to complete it. And if you're ever wondering, that the top and the bottom are always going to match because this is an E, this is an E. So anything that you're playing on your scale, if you're questioning what was the bottom one or what was the top one, if you can remember what the other side was, you're going to be good. And again, it's always 3s and it's 4s. So my unit is about to die. Cheers, brother. Go out, practice those patterns, get them right, get them tight. Let me know if any of those ones sucked, and I can come back and make it a little more clear on what I'm pressing, because I know it's hard to see those frets sometimes when I'm watching videos. And go get yourself some of that Glenlivet 12-year. It's got a nice teal bottle. Get yourself right, brother. Oof, got this thing wet. A little bit of that Glenlivet. You gotta mix it right into the wood. I like it. Take her easy, buddy.